Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, a direct mail 2.0 company. And today I'm talking with Maria Youth. She is the Chief Revenue Officer for Path2Response, which is headquartered in Broomfield, Colorado. And today we're going to be talking about all things data in direct mail. But before we get started, if you have any questions or feedback, please comment in the box below. You can show your support for the channel by hitting the like button. And to get notified of when we add new videos to the Who's Mailing What channel, click on subscribe. Now, let's meet the mailers. Hi, Maria. Welcome to the program today. Great to see you.
Thank you, Paul. You too. I'm excited to be here.
Cool, cool. Well, everybody has a unique path, to borrow a word, right? That leads to where they are today. So why don't we start with your journey, which I understand, goes through marketing and retail and merchandising and advertising, and talk about, what's led to you where you are today.
Yeah, sure. So, it's always been interesting when I look back on my career and where the world has come, right? Back in the 90s, what was considered advertising? When did direct response advertising start playing in the game? And
Mm.
and I think that all started in the 90s, really. I had graduated from college, started off in the media buying and planning world, where it was literally about recency, frequency, and reach. Right. So minimum 3 times advertising in a magazine would get someone's attention, right? And
Mhm.
radio, TV, all of those things. And so started my career in that area. And then realized that there's this thing called direct response and direct marketing and how it can truly be measured, right? So
Mhm.
made a leap to a client and ended up heading up all of their direct mail activity, doing A/B testing, which was so fun, right? That's a geeky side of
Mm.
me.
I love
Understanding,
stuff.
you can test different offers, different creatives, and truly measure the impact on consumer response. So that was super exciting and kind of got my interest, right? And then at one point in my career, I made the transition to leave the client world and work on the vendor side of the business. So I've worked at a few vendors, really focused on data, right? That's the topic
Mhm.
of today. And data is critical when it comes to direct mail and the power of data, and all the analytics and the criteria that you're selecting. And it really boils down to, who are you mailing, right? Who are you
Right.
mailing to and what are you mailing? So that's
Mhm.
kind of where I've been. Today, I'm a Chief Revenue Officer of Path2Response. I've been here about 8.5 years now, really helping our clients in all facets, mail smarter, mail better, and mail to the right people.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it's all about. Data has always been, I always call it like the king of direct mail, because even if you go back 30, 40 years, it really has been all about the data. There's that uh, famous equation that Ed Mayer had in the 60s, that success in direct marketing is about 40% your list, 20% the offer, and or excuse me, 40% your list, 40% your offer, and 20% is everything else.
Yes.
And I think that that's pretty much still the case, right?
I think so. I think it's getting more and more challenging, right? It's
Mhm.
becoming more challenging, and a lot of it is becoming all about, are you mailing the right customer?
Right, right. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that, because I think that's where really the rubber meets the road, is understanding how people are different from each other
Mhm.
and speaking to that. So I understand that, this year is the 10th anniversary of Path2Response.
Correct.
Uh, for people who don't know, can you give like a brief rundown of the company's products and services?
Sure, sure. So we have a database comprised of actual buying behavior. All of
Hmm.
the data that we get is contributed from our clients. So we work with catalogers, retailers, nonprofits, magazine publishers, home food delivery services, home and personal services, really anyone that's transacting directly with consumers, whether it's travel, financial, anyone that's looking to acquire new customers and or retain them. And the other dynamic is that we're the only company of its kind that actually has the actual buying behavior, but we also capture the browsing behavior. So we have first party data coming into our database that
Hmm.
really captures consumers while they're in market, rather than after they've already made the purchase. So we are essentially providing acquisition services, audience solutions, retention services, and really trying to market to those kind of customers.
Mm-hmm. And so these would be your different products, the Path to Acquisition, Path to Ignites, et cetera.
Correct. Yeah, the Path2Unite actually is a unique product offering in the sense that we can output data on a daily basis. So one of our key initiatives as an organization is speed to market. So whether you're interested in mailing daily, weekly, whatever, monthly, whatever that looks like, we can actually build a model and deliver it within 24 hours. So clients have that last minute need, they come up with some unique offering, we can get that out to them, that data set out to them within 24 hours after the initial setup. It's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it would be because I think that's critical is getting into the market as quickly as possible when your prospect or your customer or your lapsed customer or donor still has you in mind.
Correct. Especially if we can identify them as a site visitor, right? Wouldn't any given company or brand love to know that somebody was just on their website?
Oh, I would think so.
And
Yeah.
that we can rank and score them based on the propensity to buy. That's a wonderful thing, right? And even better, what's even more unique is the fact that we can identify lapsed customers, right?
Oh,
So
good.
wouldn't you love to know someone who hasn't bought from you in 24 months is on your website? That would be
Right.
the time to speak to them.
Right. So that's the path to advantage, correct?
Correct.
Cool. So, speaking like a lot more broadly, what are the biggest challenges that are facing direct mail marketers today? And how does Path to Response help clients overcome them?
Yeah, there's so many challenges, and unfortunately, this industry has been hit in the last 2 years. If it's not one thing, it's another, right? So
Right.
for a while, it was paper shortages, then it was postage shortages, and then it was this, tariffs, right? Not postage shortages, postage increases, right?
Right.
So all of these things are challenging to our clients, right? So they're coming to us, they're facing increased costs, and they're coming to us and asking us how we can help. And the way we answer that and address that is to actually help them mail smarter, right? So there are companies out there that can target millions and millions of names, or they're mailing client site visitors, but they're not qualifying them, right? So another company might be mailing every single site visitor that they can identify. Path2Response is going to take the people we identify and rank and score them. So you're actually going to mail less, but you'll have a higher response rate and overall better performance from that mail piece. So, we've been tasked with how to mail smarter. What can we help our clients with? Path2Response is iterative in our modeling process. So we're constantly analyzing results, making small tweaks, and further improving performance.
So this is where modeling comes in.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the best way to go because even in cases where you have a lot of behavioral data, if you're not really like modeling what your ideal customer profile is, you're probably wasting some of that spending.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is inferred data, whether it's survey data or compiled data. We're not inferring. It is deterministic, right? We know this consumer purchased this product. They didn't just say they're going to. We know that they did. We know that they're browsing and can identify who's actually purchasing.
Right. So, well, that anticipates my next question. How can marketers use site visitation data to learn more about who was shopping from them, who is browsing or buying or giving to them for nonprofits?
Yeah, so we're all about that, right? Let's identify who's on the site, and then understand, are they an existing customer or donor, or are they net new? So I think it's really becoming more important for clients and companies to understand who is on their website and what are they not only doing, meaning looking at, donating, researching, right? And then trying to communicate with them effectively, because these people are raising their hands and they're choosing you. There are millions of different websites out there. And wouldn't you love to know that this person was on yours? there's obviously a propensity there, a likeness, just an overall interest in your company. Why wouldn't companies want to communicate with them?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah,
okay.
because they all they would think about is at that point is what is it that separates you from in the mind of your shopper or your browser or your customer or your donor from all the competition that's out there. Like I always say they're just a click away from oblivion.
Right. Right. It's a squirrel and they jump off somewhere else. Right.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And I think that attention span, unfortunately, with unfortunately in some circumstances and for some reasons, is certainly decreased a lot in the last 20 years, right?
Yes. There's a lot more clutter in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So many more
Mm-hmm.
distractions, and the key is honing in on the right audience.
Hmm. Yeah, and so many channels too. I mean, all
Yes.
the different channels that you can pop up in, which is also an area of opportunity if you're present in those channels to the same customers. If they see you in, YouTube ads and they see you in email, et cetera, and they're just popping up in different places compared to your competition who may only choose one and they're they're gone because again, that attention span is so short now.
Yeah. And I think, you talk about the multi-channel marketing, right? So
Mhm.
it's great to capture people while they're online. It's great to hit them up with a direct mail piece, maybe follow up with a larger direct mail piece later. Somewhere along the line, that consumer is going to respond. And it's
Mhm.
and it's a matter of understanding holistically, where are you spending your advertising efforts? What channels are you choosing? And more importantly, where are they buying, right?
Right.
And then it's understanding overall attribution. Was it because they got hit 3 times, 2 times? And that's a big challenge for companies. They're like, well, we're spending a lot of money in TV. We don't know if the direct mail piece worked. But then again,
Exactly.
what made them buy, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, measure everything holistically. Like, here's your overall ad spend across a time period. Here's the overall responders. Is it working? Direct mail is unique in the sense that you can have easily conduct a holdout panel, right?
Hmm.
Understand, especially on the site visitation data. That's one thing we pride ourselves on is, we can identify site visitors, rank and score them, but we're going to conduct a holdout panel, meaning that we're going to mail, 10,000 postcards, but we're going to hold out 2,000 of them. And
Right.
after that campaign period, after 3 months, let's look at who responded. Did they get a postcard? Did they get a direct mail piece? Were they on the holdout panel? Because that is a direct correlation to the only difference between the holdout panel and the mailed segment is that one piece of mail.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's a fantastic opportunity to truly see, is this moving the needle?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And then you can, right. And then you can do all kinds of other, like you mentioned before, like A/B testing with other types of, direct mail pieces,
oh yeah, that's the
which
fun
is,
part, right?
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can use embellishments, you can use, VDP on those pieces and try and boost the response that way. And that's where it like really gets into like some really great nitty-gritty details like that.
Yes, it's fun. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun, yeah. So, what other kinds of things can marketers do to increase the impact of their mail while at the same time keeping their costs, like you touched on before, affordable and manageable? Because we have these postage increases, which have been pretty substantial the last 5 years or so. And how can they do that?
Yeah, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I'm on a boatload of mailing lists and get a lot of direct mail. My mailman hates me, but I've seen a change, right? I used to get 20 catalogs a day, and now a
Hmm.
lot of those catalog mailers have cut their formats, they've changed their formats. Some of them have gone to simple postcards. Many of
Hmm.
them have gone to Slim Jims,
Slim
or
Jims, yeah.
rather than a 8.5 by 11, they've cut down their trim size. There's all kinds of things that people are faced with, and there's some postal discounts to be had with some of those changes, right?
Sure.
I know in July the ACMA they were very instrumental in helping out the direct mail industry and in getting some opportunities for postal savings and discounts. For
Hmm.
quarter holiday season. So a lot of companies are able to take advantage of that. But I think, not only is it about the creative format, it's again about the data that and the people that you're choosing to mail, because you just have to overall mail smarter. There's savings on formats. There's different testing you could do with regard to offers to increase response, right? It's all about A/B testing and going out with a new control, finding that next new thing that's going to move the needle and increase overall performance.
Right. How about like using AI to really dig into the some of the details again about your response rates to campaigns?
Yeah, it's funny. AI is a funny term, right? So
Right.
it means something different to almost every person. I think AI has its place. I think there's a lot of information that's out there. For Path2Response, we're not using AI in our models, right? We are using, other things, right? Because AI can change. It's changing every day, right? It's
Yeah.
every day there's something else coming out on the marketplace. And, we're very smart and very methodical in our approach. And I think AI has its place, maybe on the customer service side of things. I've seen a lot of clients move to online chats. And sometimes they're really detailed and you almost don't even realize you're talking to a bot, right? And not a person. It's fascinating. And there's also pitfalls to that too. But it's changing the way we do business, for sure.
I've done some work in the past with retailers, a lot of e-commerce retailers and traditional retailers, and I've seen that big change in how the bots were even like 3 or 4 years ago, which were frustrating is like a good way to describe it, and I'm being mild when I say that. And they've come a very long way, and I guess this is where all the learning comes in that they're applying to each iteration of the different AI tools.
Yeah, and I think I was recently with some clients and they were talking about how they utilize it in their call center. Fascinating. And I'll just entertain you for a minute. But they're saying that they have their reps, AI is being utilized on every single call, and they will get notified that says, Bob Smith, rep number whatever, sounds depressed today.
Huh. Wow.
And then they'll go and just say, Bob, you doing okay? Maybe we need to like take you off, go take a break, or someone's having a hard time today. Like, it's incredible. And every day it's changing the way people are doing business.
Interesting.
I think mostly on that customer service side of things.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. And the other thing too that it just occurred to me as well is to get back to the point about making your meal more affordable. Something I focus on a lot is using USPS incentives, right?
Yes, yes.
Incentive programs are still in effect. You can choose when you want to use them, and like you said, there's the catalog incentive, which is in place as well.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. It's really just kind of being in tune to the postage. Where can you save money? Maybe combine some things. It is a little bit of a game. It's a little bit of a puzzle.
So, with increasing concerns about data privacy, how does Path2Response ensure responsible data usage while still delivering what everybody wants, which are, targeted campaigns?
Yeah, so we're very compliant in the sense that, we work with our clients to make sure that they share with us their own privacy data, right? The people who have said, do not rent my name, do not share my name. We want to make sure people are knowingly and ethically collecting their data. And not only that, we want to make sure that the mail pieces that they're sending to data that comes out of Path2Response are genuine, not alarming in any sense. We do have practices in place to make sure we understand exactly how our data is being used. And plus we follow all the best practices with regard to NCOA and CAS certification, things like that. So we work very, very hard. And, as a co-op with our data, with getting all of the data from our clients, it's imperative that we maintain certain standards of not only just privacy and just data in general, but just even security measures, right? We don't want to, we have such walled gardens up. Nobody can get into our database, right? It's
Mhm.
very, very secure. There are no issues there, and we make sure that everyone's in compliance.
Great. Great. That's great to hear. Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of what I've seen over the years is, certainly a lot of mail where it is verges on creepy about how the data is used in a mail piece, including using pictures from Google Street View, and things like that, which some people would absolutely be turned off at if they got a direct mail piece that did that.
Yes,
And and yet, like you said, at the same time, you had mail years ago where you were getting variations on your name, variations on your address that were incorrect, or just completely wrong, outdated data on your mail piece being sent to you. And that's a lot of that is gone, fortunately, because it's had to go.
yeah, yeah, and it's been regulated, right? And I think
Hmm.
everyone who's in this industry is always putting their best foot forward in making sure that the data's clean. The data's clean.
Hmm. Cool. So, what kind of trends are you seeing for direct mail in the next year or so? You talked about these catalogs and other pieces getting slimmed down from the large full-size catalogs to slim jim size or postcards or folded self-mailers. But what other kinds of things?
So I think there's been such uncertainty in the marketplace with regard to just consumer confidence, and
Mm.
I think a lot of people have sort of paused on their direct mail campaigns,
Mm.
especially for this first half of this year. Right,
Right.
January, winter and spring were very light from a direct mail perspective. Fall holiday, we have high hopes, and mailers are realizing that they need to sustain their business. They need to grow their customer files. And plus, I think consumer confidence, excuse me, has improved. Right, there's been a lot of issues with tariffs and stuff. So I foresee us having an upsurge in
Mhm.
mailing overall. I don't necessarily think it's going to outgrow last year's growth. There
Right.
was a lot of mail just due to the election, political stuff, and so I don't know if it's going to be the volumes are going to be as high, but I think consumers, once they get through the next second half of the year, the next 6 months, they're going to realize that January, February, March, like things will stabilize and people will come back to the mail. I think consumers will see more mail in their mailbox, a variety of formats. I think people are trying to stand out. Um,
Mm.
and mailboxes have been, a little bit emptier. So those that
Yeah.
can afford to mail, that mail is being treated with a little bit more respect, and people are really looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also too, like for a lot of marketers and nonprofits, ones who decided to put a pause or severely reduce their what they're spending on mail, they're just replacing it with, if they're replacing it with email, that's not necessarily going to be very, very helpful to them in the long run if everybody else has the same idea.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. And so I think that for a lot of them, when they realize that they're maybe perhaps went overboard in doing that, and then that this would be a good time to jump back in, maybe not, you know, fully like they were before, but to a greater degree than what they've been doing.
Yeah, I think everyone can think back and just look at their own personal email boxes, right? How
Hmm.
cluttered is it, and how many people do you actually know that is trying to work with you? So I think that while it's cheaper, it was all the rage several years ago. I think that's sort of
Yeah.
that's run out a little bit, and so people need to
Oh,
be a little more creative.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So one question I always have for people coming to the end of the chat is, what is one direct mail piece that you received recently that really made you stop and pay attention and maybe even responded to?
Um, so I received a direct mail piece that looked like it was a card, like a greeting card, and it was
Okay.
handwritten. And I didn't recognize the address on it. And I opened it up and it was completely a solicitation. right? And I was like, oh my
Hmm.
God, it was so clever because I'm in the industry, right? So I
Right.
appreciate it, right? So I was like, oh my God, like what is this? And it was all about, I think the offer was for Windows, but it was
Hmm.
like a greeting card. And it just made me laugh because I opened it thinking, oh, someone sent me a card. And it was totally a solicitation.
Right, right. I think I may have received the exact same piece.
It's hilarious.
Um,
I laughed at myself
yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. I there, you know, it's kind of like in the position I've been in is I see very little that's like news. So when I see something that really like stands out for me, it really has to hit me. And it's interesting when you just see some techniques that continue to get rolled out. You know, like handwriting is
Yes.
very popular now, and it
Yeah.
seems like everybody's using that,
Hmm.
especially nonprofits.
Yeah.
And when you see the variety of inks and the different style fonts that are used and where they put them, yeah, it's very interesting seeing all that.
I think it makes people think like, oh, it's a handwritten note. It can't be a business. Like it can't be as somebody trying to get me to buy something. It's
Right, but you
yeah,
know those are sometimes some of the best ones.
absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm. So, how can people contact you or Path to Response to find out more about all of your solutions?
Yeah, I would suggest visiting our website. It's just www.path2response.com. I'm on
Hmm.
LinkedIn, Maria Youth. Feel free to reach out. Happy to help anyone with any questions. We see a lot in our area, both from clients and other vendors and partners, even like yourself. So
Hmm.
happy to help anyone with any of those issues. And if anybody needs audiences or data, in a last minute effort because they need to mail tomorrow, we can help
Right.
you out, right? And it's all about the quality of data, and we can deliver quality data very, very quickly.
Awesome. So, thank you again for being here today. Really appreciate you. And thank you all out there for joining us today. Remember that questions and feedback are always welcome. Tap those like and subscribe buttons. And if you want to be featured in a future Meet the Mailers, please reach out to me. You can contact me by looking in the paragraph below, tap that show more, and we can talk about how we can showcase your company, your solutions, and your thought leadership. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you next time.